Hallo und herzlich willkommen bei Angelikas Expert Talk, der Talktime, wo ich Experten für dich unter die Lupe nehme. Heute bei mir zu Gast Jeanet Bathoorn von den Niederlanden. Welcome, Jeanet.
Thank you, vielen Dank.
Jeanet, you are like an author of 6 books. 3 of them are bestsellers. You are an online social media expert since 2008. Main topic is like money mindset, and a really cool like kind of project or a vision you have is like the Freedom Entrepreneur Cruise. More about that in detail. We're going to talk about it now.
Yeah, great.
But, I usually would like just to start with the Jeanet in, I don't know when you were born actually. So from your beginning, let's just tell us, where do you originally come from? Where were you born?
Okay, so I grew up in the north of the Netherlands, and I don't know that for Austria, of course, but I grew up far away from the big cities, far away from Amsterdam, Rotterdam, etc. So on the countryside. And I still am a country girl. I love being out in nature. I love animals. I always did horse riding. Even today, I own my own horse, an Icelandic horse. But growing up in the countryside, it always felt like I was 2 or 10 steps behind other people. Maybe even felt a bit smaller. My grandfather and my father owned a bicycle shop, a bicycle store, in which they sold bicycles and repaired them. And I mean, that was my world. It was small. And there was this attitude of, and still is, I don't live there anymore, but still is, act normal, because if you're a bit different, it's not good.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Okay, yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that. And I think it's even more when you're a woman, or when I grew up as a girl, thinking big or dreaming is out of the question. I mean, going to Amsterdam for studies, no way, that was too dangerous. So I got influenced by that whole small thinking, and it took me years to get out of it. And one of the best ways to get out of that mindset of your parents, and no matter how sweet they are, but to adopt a new mindset, is leave the area where you grew up. For me, it meant like moving 200 kilometers to Rotterdam, to where everything is happening. And there I discovered all kinds of new mindsets and people, and I was like, I'm not crazy. There are more people like me.
Oh yeah, I also did that. I moved to New York, or close to New York for a study year, and it was a totally mindset shift. And then back to Vienna, to the city. But I still, like you, ended up then finally at my like in the landscape, at the countryside, because I really love it. So this is like actually where I feel at home. Even so, I love cities. I love to meet international people, but that's like where I feel home, nature.
Me too.
Close surrounding.
And I love online, and I love meeting people, but I also love to get back home and be with my horse and the dog, and so there are funny things in my life, because when I was 14 or 15 years old, we did not have internet back then. For the young people, we had this project on school in which we could apply for pen pals, so writing with people.
Yeah, we also had that.
I did that, and I think at my peak I had about 40 pen pals all over the world, from Kenya, Israel, Malaysia, Russia, Hungary, USA, Canada. I mean, all over the world. And I loved that. I loved it, because maybe not every day, but every week I had new letters, like real postal letters coming in from somewhere. And I'm curious. I love that. And it took me, like, I discovered it about 7 or 8 years ago, like the whole letter writing. It was about writing, about curiosity. It has everything to do now with my book writing and my love for social media. But we did not have social media back then. So I had another way of doing that.
But it was always there. That's the point. It was always there. It's like a part of you which was always there to get in touch with other cultures, to explore the world. This freedom, this curiosity was always there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When did you make like the decision to become self-employed, and especially in the field of online marketing? I mean, what did you work before? Like 2008 was a really early time actually to step into this area. So how was this process?
Yeah, they call me an internet dinosaur right now. I started blogging in 2008. I started LinkedIn in 2005. Mm-hmm. I was trained as an international marketeer, so I like marketing. I did not like the jobs that come with it, because we were talking about products and about specifications, and there was no interaction with clients if you work in marketing departments. So I retrained myself, or I went back to school again and became an HR manager, so human resources. And then I worked in the field of commercial businesses and HR. So I don't know if it does exist in Austria, but then you hire people and you send them out to other companies, and and you make a profit on them.
Yes.
And I love that. I love talking to new people and hiring them or not hiring them, talking about their salary, about their wishes, but also talking to the client and say, well, this could be a good fit for you. So I visited companies in the Netherlands and in Belgium, and then I had people for them. And I really like that combination. But then in 2004, we moved to the other side of the Netherlands, where I live now. So I lived in the big, busy area, close to all the big cities where the good jobs are. And I say it like a bit easy maybe, but now I live very close to the German border in the east. I started to apply for jobs, and I really disliked the jobs because there was no responsibility. It felt like getting back, and I was like, no
way.
So it was they were the good years, 2004, 2005. I went to the Chamber of Commerce. I signed up as an entrepreneur, and the first years I worked as an interim manager. So I did interim jobs in HR and employability. And then in 2005 I started LinkedIn, and I loved it because until now, up till that date, we had to go to sites like Monsterboard, Jobbird, Intermediaire, I don't know if you know, but we had to pay for them. We had to pay like a lot of money for it. And there was LinkedIn, and it was free. And I was like, what? There's all these people here, and I can browse in those curriculum vitae, or I can find people. I was hooked right away. So I was one of the first LinkedIn experts in the Netherlands. And in 2007, people started to ask me, can you train us? Can you give workshops about it? So from 2008, I stopped doing the interim work, and I switched to LinkedIn expert, and then later social media more wide. But yeah, I just like it. Yeah.
That's a long and interesting story. So was there also challenges you had to face? I mean, it always sounds so easy to get a business started and to earn good money, and all those shiny objects are actually out there. Is it really that easy, or which challenges did you have to face to build up your business up to the date where you are now?
I think there will be challenges like every month. For me, it's innovation, because I cannot offer the same LinkedIn workshop now. Like in 2008, I offered them and I was sold out. I offered them and I was sold out. After a year, there were competitors. So people start to copy your idea, your business model. And by the way, that is completely normal. Some people freak out about it, like, they're copying me, and I had this idea. Yeah, well, other people can do it too.
I mean, it's the same about products. We wouldn't have a lot of mobile phones if they don't copy it.
That's it. Yeah, so you have to be
normal process.
I think that's the biggest challenge. You have to innovate yourself. You have to invent the new things you're going to offer. You have to think about and that's where your work is so important. You have to brand yourself as an expert. You have to position yourself like, this is what I'm good at. And once your name is known, once you're known in your field, it does not really matter what you're offering. I mean, I offer mastermind groups now. I invented the term freedom entrepreneur in Dutch, and people were like, oh, this is what we want. And I was like, okay, come on. But I do mastermind groups, and the cruise, the freedom entrepreneur cruise, that was something that I did 5 cruises, but on the side, like for my own fun, because I love them. I took a small group of people with me. So I offered it to my list. I say, oh, I'm going to do this. Are you interested? No big campaign, no launches, nothing. And people join me because they know me, they know they know my style, they know the concept, and they know it will be fun and educational. I don't know.
Yes.
So they're going to learn something. And I think that's the most important thing. So I could also offer other things, and people would say, some people would say, not for me, and others would say, oh, it's Janet, let's do that. I know her. And I think that's the most important thing to realize, that you have to improve yourself, you have to get better, but it's always, if you're a solopreneur like me, it's always about yourself.
Yeah.
People have to trust you, and whatever you do, like in January, I'll host a live day in Dutch for my community here. And I know already that people are going to love it because I did it before, and I'll do it again and again. And that's the thing that you learn as an entrepreneur, I think.
How does like a normal business day of you look like? You said very important to you is freedom, like not to work anymore, like 80 hours a week, all around the clock. So what does it mean? How does a normal, I mean, you work still a lot, obviously, because you're very successful, but how does such a normal business day of you look like?
I think I have several kinds of business days. I have business days that I'm online all the time, talking to my clients or coaching them one-on-one, like the way we do. I had a group coaching call this morning. And then in the back office, I have to talk with my VA and my team. So this is a normal day in my study or in my house. That's a normal day. But I also have days like networking days. Tuesday I was at an event with 300 other entrepreneurs, and then I switch over to networking mode and get to know as many people as possible who could be interested in my cruise, for example. And it's not, I'm not salesy. I'm always curious about, okay, could it be something for you? But I just want to be there. I just want people to know that I'm there and that I'm offering this. That's a normal day. And the freedom for me is like flying to Vienna and to attend network meetings there. That's also, it's work, but I love it. I mean, I don't mind going to the airport early in the morning and then hop on a plane and go to Vienna.
I'm really looking forward to it because we're going to meet finally in live.
Yes,
so this is great. But that's really the freedom, I think. And you mentioned two important things. It's really like to be known or recognized as an expert.
Yeah.
And the problem is, my clients they are usually scanner personalities. So their problem is usually they believe they decide for one thing, and until the end of their days, they have to do that. But like you already said, you just need to be well known as an expert for one field. But what you offer then, or what you do then, doesn't matter. It's up to you, and you can think in projects and realize projects. Yeah. And I also, the second important thing, I also really agree with you, is to build up a network. Without a network, especially also online and offline, it's really, really hard to make your way.
Yeah, and I think it's also, as an entrepreneur, but as a person, I'm always curious about people. I'm always like, what are you working on? What is your struggle? What is your background? I like to talk about when you started also in that way. Like, what did you want to become when you were 11 years old? What was your dream? What are you dreaming about now? And for me, I like networking. A lot of people hate networking. I don't get that. It's like being curious and interested in people, and then you have nice talks and having fun. I mean, I like to have fun with people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. Not like to be like this, I don't know, strict-minded or whatever, but you like to be really open-minded and to have fun, be curious, what life brings up to you.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your vision, because I think it's a great thing you do. I mean, this is like, I haven't come across anybody who does that.
No,
so your freedom, entrepreneurship, tell us something about this vision for 2019. It's the next start, and then you have a big vision.
Yeah. So I'll begin with the end in mind. My big dream, my big vision is to have a cruise ship, not to own it, but to rent a cruise ship for 1,500 to 1,800 people. Then it will be filled with our group, my group, Freedom Entrepreneurs, and to do a cruise, preferably a crossing. So I like the days on sea. I like to work on sea. But I want it to be our ship, like with our own DJs, with our own speakers, where everything is decided by my team and myself and by us. That's my dream. Why? Because I think, and I'm going to build it up. So next year, 2019, we will be with 100 entrepreneurs. So until now, my biggest group was 16, like small group, comfortable. I know them, it's okay. Now with 100, it's different. Why do I want it? Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs are more or less a prisoner of their own business. They work and work and work. They feel that they have to do everything by themselves. And it's so often that I ask people, could you leave your business for 3 weeks? And would you still earn money? Because at the first question they say, yeah, I could go away for 3 weeks. Of course I can. And then I say, would you still earn money? And they're like, no, of course not, because I'm not there. But the trick is to find a business model that gives you the cash flow that even if you leave 3 weeks, nobody knows that you're away. I mean, it doesn't matter. And that's my inspiration. I want to get people out of their business and working on themselves, on the network, and have a helicopter view on their own business together with other brilliant minds. And then if you really ask me, especially women, especially mothers who have all this guilt towards the children and the family, and I'm like, no, they can survive without you for 3 weeks. They can. I know they can. They don't like it, but they can.
Definitely. So what's about next year? I mean, this is the big question. What about next year, 2019?
Yeah, 2019.
And are curious and who would like to participate maybe.
Yeah, so next year, 2019, it's all organized. I want a group of more or less 100 entrepreneurs. So I have an option on 131 beds. So that's the group size now. International, so it's English speaking and focused on the European market, because in America, in the US, it's very normal that entrepreneurs go on cruises for 3 or 4 days and they talk to each other. And no, I have another strategy, because this cruise is a bit longer. It's 2.5 weeks. We start in the cold of Europe, end of November in Italy, and maybe it's 17 degrees, I don't know, but it's colder. But we sail, so we are going to cross the Atlantic Ocean. We're going to sail to the Caribbean, to Barbados, Guadeloupe, Martinique, like all these paradise destinations. And why? Because I know from experience that once you start the crossing, things are going to happen to people, because it's 6 days on a row that you can see. You can only see the ocean. You open your curtains or your balcony doors and see again, like every day, the whole day. We are not used to that anymore. We are not used to being alone, because I say to people, don't take your partner if he or she is not an entrepreneur. Come along. You are disconnected from your family. You're disconnected from your whole daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the best news is you don't have to do anything. You don't have to cook. You don't have to clean. You don't have to do your bed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the discomfort starts, because we are used to doing something the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not work, then we have to hurry for the shopping or the groceries, or we have to do the cooking or whatever. And on day 3, 4, sometimes day 5, some people hit a wall. They're like, what is happening to me? Because all of a sudden you have the time to think about yourself, to reflect upon your life, to ask yourself, is this really what I want? Am I happy the way I live?
Mm-hmm.
Is my business okay? Some people have some sort of a breakdown. They start to cry, and they start to start to become braver and braver. Like, no, this is not what I want. But if you know what you don't want, you could end up selling your company. I had people selling their practice.
Mm-hmm.
I had people going into divorces. I know, you're warned. But if you really go for what you want and what your big dream is, you have to make choices, and they're not always fun. But that's what I like about this process, because if you talk about it in the group or in smaller groups, there are people who have felt the same things. They have been through the process, a lot of them. And you get support. You can open up about it. And I think it's one of the very few occasions in which you can say, my business, my whole ambition is also very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is number 1 or number 2. And if you're at home, it's difficult to say that. Like, my business is important. That, for me, my neighborhood knows it. They don't have to come here and say, oh, let's have a cup of coffee. And I'm like, no, I'm working. I don't have the time for you. It's difficult. And I think water has this effect on us.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah.
This sounds very transformative. It's a very transformation journey, actually.
It is a transformation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a transformation.
Is there something like in the end or is there, like you said, okay, people start crying sometimes, or it's it's like a totally transformative journey. So do you support them in the end, or is there also a supportive part, or is there like an ongoing program? You work together with them afterwards?
Yeah, well, some of them, it's not for everybody that heavy or whatever. I also have people, they enjoy every second of it. It's like they're radiant, as if they give light. We say it in Dutch. They're just on the ship like, oh, this is great. No, some people are in my mastermind groups. So I work with them for 12 months, and then the cruise is somewhere in between, or it's the journey. But some people just book the cruise by themselves, and we do have a Facebook group. I keep that open about 2 months after the cruise, and then I archive it and I say, okay, this was our journey. Yeah.
Right.
But I know that from the people that joined already, that people find friends for life, because they have talked.
I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah. And they don't meet anymore. Then they have each other, and they meet up and talk to each other and grow. Yeah.
So in this aspect, like this freedom aspect, what does success really mean to you? What is success all about it for you personally?
Yeah, well, I think there are things that you can see. You can see success in the way that people have confidence in themselves, and they, without being arrogant, say of themselves that they are an expert or they are good. You can see success in the way that they treat people, for example, or success for me is not about driving in a car of like in a Tesla or a Porsche. I don't care about that. But it is making the choices that you want. And money comes with it, because if you want to have the freedom that you want, you just need money. I cannot go to the US and get a ticket for €0. No, I have to buy a ticket and book a hotel, and I need money to do the things that I like. But that's why I focus on freedom, because in my group now, I have, she's much younger than I am. She has one child, I think 1.5 years old. Her freedom is working 3 days per week in her business and have 2 days for her kid, for her son, and for the family, and that's her freedom. So I encourage her to pick a business model in which it is possible to work 3 days per week and have enough money, because she's buying a house right now, so she also needs money. We all need money.
Yeah, it's. I think it's natural, and I think it's stubborn or stupid actually to say no, money is not good or money is bad. And let's come maybe to the point you also. You are also an expert, you can say, like, and you wrote a book about it, on like money mindset.
Yeah.
So maybe one really good business tip or super duper tip for females about the money mindset.
I think most women are too modest and they always find an excuse of not, for example, of not asking a higher price. So if I talk to entrepreneurs and they're good in what they do and they're fully booked out, I say, double your prices. And they're like, no, I can do that. And what would they think of me? And I'm like, who cares? You are good in this. You will attract people who will pay you because you are good. And I think it all comes down to claiming your value, your self-esteem, your confidence. And I don't know why women especially always doubt themselves so much. We should not do that. It's not necessary, because I don't know if it's for Austria, but here in Holland, girls do better at school and better at university, for example.
Also in Austria, yes.
So why do we doubt ourselves? And all this fuzzing about, are my eyebrows okay, or am I slim enough, or whatever. I mean, this whole body
culture is like really getting more crazy.
It's terrible. But hey, we don't have to obey to all these old masculine rules. We don't have to listen to it. We could just say, well, I'm a bit overweight, but hey, I love my body. I mean, who cares? So find the role models that inspire you to be you, no matter what anyone says. But as an entrepreneur, you have to be good at something to ask higher prices. You cannot say, well, I just start out and I don't know a lot, so let's ask a high price. No, it's the way in which you work. So if you're fully booked, then your prices are too low. That's one of my golden rules.
Okay.
But yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Last final question is, you also have coaches, or you probably already had coaches and mentors on your side to help you grow your business. You do that yourself. And as you know, as I match experts and clients, I think it's really essential to have the right person on your side. Yeah. Why do you think it's important to have a mentor or a coach for growing your business?
Yeah, I think it's a necessity. It's not even important. It's even more than that. You need people to back you up and to say and to give you the confidence you can do it. You need people to give you a kick in the butt, like, you can do it. The reason that I do this cruise is because of my business coach, Sigrun. She lives in Switzerland. She's Icelandic, but lives in Switzerland. We did this exercise. So I'm in her VIP mastermind group, and we did this exercise about what is the thing in your business that you really, really love to do. And I was like, I love my cruises. I just love them.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, amplify that. What if you could do a cruise and earn your yearly income? And I was like, that would be paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now I have 12 months time to do my marketing and to get people interested in this cruise. And without her support and without her thinking big, because I said, well, okay, I'll start with 50 then. And she said, no, start with 100 because your big vision is much bigger. So, but it felt unsafe. It felt uncomfortable because 16 was my biggest group. But because of the 100 now, I have to do other things. I have to think other thoughts.
Differently, yeah.
I have to think, and I have to do other actions. I have to hire people. I have a good retreat planner now. I had to negotiate with a cruise company. I needed other skills in order to get that done. Without a coach, I wouldn't have started it. I would have said, no, it's a lot of work. It's too scary. It's I'm not going to do it. No, let's keep it safe. And I think that's why you need a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think also, to get out of the comfort zone and to think big. I think that's the main points, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really encourage people to always have a coach somehow, maybe on this thing that you want to work on, or maybe on the whole bigger vision, but absolutely find someone who can inspire you, who gets you, and also who is not going to buy your excuses, that they will say,
that's a very good point.
Bullshit, I'm not going to do that. Yeah.
Well, this was really great insight into your life, into your business story. I thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
And to all the others, danke fürs Zuhören, danke fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye.